Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Worshipful Wednesday. We're right in the middle of the week. I don't know about you, but I tell everybody Wednesday is the moment that you ought to have the peak to your praise. You ought to throw up your hands, let everybody know I serve an awesome God who doeth all things well. And today, may you allow the Holy Spirit to be at work like never before. Today, I invite you to look with me at Matthew's Gospel, the 15th chapter, verses 32 through 39. A very powerful story. This is a story where Jesus feeds thousands of people. Notice in this passage, it says that Jesus called his disciples and he said, I feel sorry for the people. The people who've come here, they've been with us for 3 days. They haven't had a thing to eat. Let's do something for them. Let's give them some food to eat. You know, he does something so powerful in here. He does something, a little bit of what we heard about on Sunday. He does something that is so evident that it is God. Look at the text. He sits the people down. Guess what he does? He calms them. He says, I know you're hungry. I know your stomach is growling, but sit down for just a moment. You know, it is something powerful in us realizing that when God says, sit and feel the calm of the moment, you can find a peace and tranquility like never before. You know, whenever you and I sit down and organize work, it is then that we can begin to say the words, if evil is organized, so must be good. See, Jesus had an organized plan. His disciples didn't fully know what was going to happen, but they knew if I just follow him and I follow his words and I follow his command, everything would be okay. Jesus organizes his disciples. You see, prior to this moment, Jesus has been spending moments with them. He had been teaching them and discipling them to make sure that they understood the principles of God, the principles of salvation. And notice what he does. He has already discipled his disciples. He has taught them the power of order. Now he tells his disciples, I need for y'all to hold down. I need for you to have all the people to be seated. They follow his instructions. You know, much can be done when we follow the instructions of God. You know, as the disciples listen and then the people listen, we'll find out that there is a blessing in following instructions. You know, sometimes you and I forget. It is powerful to follow instructions. Whenever you're assembling something, you must put together A, B, C, and then D. Some of us try to skip. And when we do that, we leave some things out. Well, Jesus wanted to make sure nobody was left out. He set all the people down. As he organizes his disciples and as he organized them, he does something that is so powerful. He breaks things and then he gives thanks. It is important for you and I to learn how to break up those things that should not be together. You know, sometimes we have bound ourselves to things that should be dividing us. We should divide ourselves from some of those bad behaviors. We should divide ourselves from some of those things that keep us connected. But Jesus sits the people down. And when he sits them down, he breaks some things and then he gives thanks. You know, in all of our lives, we are only able to be what God has called us to be when he breaks us. Some of us need to be to the point of broken. And whenever we get broken, it is then we learn how to put the pieces back together. You know, this is such an astounding text because it lets us see that after Jesus breaks up the bread, after he blesses it, he tells his disciples, gather the fragments. You know, in many of our lives, we have fragments that need to be gathered. And when we put them all in the basket together, God does something powerful with them. He puts it all together like only he can. My brothers and sisters, I hope and pray that all the broken pieces in your life, that all the things that have separated you, that God will allow us to see what needs to be put in the right basket. So then we can say, like never before, we become a real basket case. That means we have some leftovers and God can do great things with them. One of the things that I do know as I conclude, my mom could do some powerful things with leftovers. She would make leftovers better than the first meal because she would arrange it in such a way that she mixed things together that were not originally mixed together. And it turned out to be so much better. Wouldn't it be awesome if God would allow all of us to be in the same basket and he can mix some things together that had never been mixed before? And it has a new taste that everybody has so much that they want to share it with everyone around them. The text concludes by saying the that Jesus sent the people home. He got back in the boat and everybody went back to tell their friends and their family. Guess what happened to us today? I hope you can go back and tell somebody, guess what happened to me today? I had an encounter with Jesus. He took all the pieces of my life and he put them back together again. And now I'm made whole. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. I look forward to sharing with you again on tomorrow. Remember, in this year of 20 and 23, God is going to bless you bigger and better than you ever thought it would be, because you and I have learned to take the Lord with us everywhere we go. And we'll talk to you again on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.